Hare Namo Namaha.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
We'll start the session. So we covered up to 22 verses, starting 23rd verse. Sri Sukha Uvacha
Sri Sukha Vacha
Iti Buddhavad Upakarnya
Iti Uddhavad Upakarna
Suhridam Dussaham Vadham Suhridam
Suhృదం
Vadham
Dussaham Vadam
Jnanena Samayet Kshatta
Jnaneya Samayat Krishna
Sokam Utpatitam Buddha.
Sokam Utpatita Buddha.
I'll also read today. Sri Sukadev Goswami said, after hearing from Uddhava all about the annihilation of his friends and relatives, the learned Vidura pacified his overwhelming bereavement by dint of his transcendental knowledge. So, Uddhava narrated about the annihilation of all the relatives, all the Yadavas and other relatives of Lord Krishna, and who were also relatives to Vidura. So he talked about the death of all of them, leaving of all those people from this world. So hearing that, Vidura was very sad. But because Vidura is a self-realized soul, by dint of his knowledge, he was able to come out of that misery quickly because he has transcendental knowledge. So Vidura was informed that the result of the battle of Kurukshetra was the annihilation of his friends and relatives, as well as the destruction of the Yadu dynasty and also the passing away of the Lord. All these hurled him into bereavement for the time being, but because he was highly advanced in transcendental knowledge, he was competent to pacify himself by enlightenment. As is stated in the Bhagavad Gita, due to our long association with bodily relationships, bereavement on account of annihilation of friends and relatives is not at all astonishing, but one has to learn the art of subduing such bereavement with higher transcendental knowledge. The knowledge of Gita, Bhagavad Gita, will help us overcome the bodily attachments we have, and therefore the loss of other living entities in our life. So Vidura was able to come out of his bereavement because of his transcendental knowledge. Satam Mahabhagavatam Vrajanta Bhagavatam Satam Mahabhagavatam
Satham Mahabhagavatam
Vrajantam Kauravarshabha
Rusantam Kauravasvaha
Vishrambhat Abhyadattedam
Vishrampath Abhyadatetam
Mukhyam Krishna Parigrahe.
Mukyam Krishna Parigrahe.
You want to read?
Yeah. While Uddhava, the chief and most confidential amongst the devotees of Lord, was going away, Vidura in affection and confidence questioned him. Vidura was much older than Uddhava. By family relationship, Uddhava was a contemporary brother of Krishna, while Vidura was as elderly as Krishna's father Vasudeva. But although junior by age, Uddhava was much advanced in the devotional service of the Lord, and therefore he is described herein as the chief amongst the devotees of the Lord. Vidura was confident about this, and thus he addressed Uddhava in that higher category.
So Vidura considered Uddhava as a senior because Uddhava was a very, very wonderful devotee of Lord. He is very much connected to Krishna in devotion service, and therefore he is described as chief among the devotees, chief and most confidential among the devotees of the Lord. Yeah. So Vidura knows about this quality of Uddhava, and therefore he is inquiring from him about Lord Krishna. Even though Vidura is of the age of the father of Uddhava, and because Uddhava is of the age of Krishna, still Vidura was inquiring him from him. Vidura uvacha
Vidura uvacha
jnanam param swatma jnanam param swatma raha prakasham
Jnanam param swatmaraha
prakasham
prakasam
yada yogeshwara ishwaraste
yadaha yogeswara iswaraste
vaktum bhavano ratiyadhi vishnor
vaktum bhavano ratiyaddi Vishnu
bhricha svabhricharda kritascharanti.
Bhritya swapratyartha Kristacharanti.
Vidura said, yeah, go ahead, Matas, you can read.
Yeah, Vidura said, O Uddhava, because the servants of Vishnu, the Lord, wander in the interest of serving others, it is quite fit that you kindly describe the self-knowledge with which you have been enlightened by the Lord Himself.
Yeah.
The servants of the Lord are actually the servants of society. They have no interest in human society other than know enlighten it in transcendental knowledge. They are interested in imparting knowledge of the relationship of the living being with the Supreme Lord, the activities in that transcendental relationship, and the ultimate goal of human life. This is the real knowledge which help the society achieve the real aim of human welfare.
Yeah. So the devotees of the Lord, they their only purpose is to serve others. If you look at Prabhupada or his disciples, or even many grand disciples, brahmacharis, they are not living for themselves. They are living for helping others to grow spiritually. Yeah. So that's why Vidura asked Uddhava to speak about Lord Krishna, because Uddhava is such a devotee who is completely uh, dedicated to help others to enlighten about Lord. Yeah. So servants of the Lord are actually servants of the society. Yeah. So the devotees are really actually servants of society. They want to help on behalf of Krishna. They want to help all the jivas to grow uh, closer to Krishna. Yeah.
The servants of the Lord Vishnu are entrusted with this responsible work, and so they wander over the earth and to all other planets in the universe. Thus, the knowledge which was received by Uddhava directly from the Lord deserves to be distributed in human society, especially to persons like Vidura, who are highly advanced in the devotional service of the Lord.
Mm. So servants of the Lord Vishnu are entrusted with this responsible work. This is a very responsible service of Lord. And so they wander over the earth, all over the planets, all to all other planets in the universe. Therefore, the knowledge which was received by Uddhava directly from the Lord deserves to be distributed. So because Uddhava had direct audience of the Lord, he directly heard from Lord Krishna before Lord Krishna left this world. He spoke to Uddhava, and at the same time, Maitreya was there on the side. He was also listening to everything that Lord Krishna was speaking to Uddhava. So they both received this knowledge. Now their duty is to share this knowledge with the human society, especially to persons like Vidura, because he is a great devotee. He is qualified person to receive. Like, it's also not for everyone. The Krishna's knowledge about Krishna is not really understood by everyone. So Vidura was a person who is a qualified person for receiving that knowledge.
Vidura was anxious to know from Uddhava that confidential knowledge known as Param Sthitam, in which the Lord is known by his transcendental pastimes. Although Vidura was older than Uddhava, he was anxious to become a servant of Uddhava in the transcendental relationship. This formula of transcendental disciplic succession is taught by the Lord Chaitanya also. Lord Chaitanya advises that one receive transcendental knowledge from anyone, whether a Brahmana or a Sudra, a householder or a sannyasi, provided that the person is factually conversant with the science of Krishna. A person who knows the science of Krishna is factually a bona fide spiritual master.
Hmm. Vidura was much older, much wiser than Uddhava. In age, he was much older, like the father is a father. But Vidura was very curious and anxious to know the knowledge that Uddhava received from Krishna directly, because Uddhava uh, has the opportunity to directly receive this wisdom from the mouth of Krishna. So this is how one should be. It doesn't matter if the devotee is older or younger, or is of a lower caste. I'm a Brahmana, that person is Sudra, I cannot hear from him. One should not have such caste considerations. Whether a person is a Brahmana or a Sudra or a householder or a sannyasi, doesn't matter what the external ashrama or um, occupation, what doesn't matter whether somebody, the only qualification is he should have genuine knowledge of Krishna as received in Guru Parampara. Right? That is the only qualification. For example, just to show this, Lord Chaitanya made Haridas Thakur as Namacharya, who is the most um, prominent person about the chanting of the holy names of Lord. And who is Haridas Thakur? He is a Muslim by birth.
Oh.
Yeah.
How did he become his disciple, Prabhuji?
Because he was always chanting the names of Lord Hari and
Oh.
Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So Lord was pleased with his sincerity, and so he was initiated. Even though he's
Oh.
born in a Muslim family like 500 years ago, at which time Muslims were very, very like
Really?
particular, yeah, very particular about following the religion properly. Yeah, and even Sanatan Goswami, he is also initiated into Muslim, Sakar Malik. But Lord Chaitanya made him uh, as the person who understands the tattva of Krishna consciousness. Right? Siddhanta Acharya. He's called Siddhanta Acharya. And ultimately, Rupa Goswami, he was also, like at the time to accept to become the minister, he was also initiated into Muslim community. Dhabir Kas and Sakar Malik, they were the names of Sanatan Goswami and Rupa Goswami. So, but he became the uh, Acharya of Krishna Bhakti. So we are all known as Rupanugas, followers in the footsteps of uh, Rupa Goswami. And he is the Acharya of um, pure unalloyed devotion service. How to render in the mood of the gopis of Vrindavan. That was what he thought. So all these great acharyas, their religion did not matter. So the only qualification is how much conversant one is with Krishna consciousness philosophy. That is the only qualification. There is no other qualification. Uddhava Uvacha
Uddhava Uvacha
Nanute Tattva Samradhya
Nanute Tattva Samradhya
Rishihi Kausharavo Antike
Shri Kausaravo Nintaki
Sakshat Bhagavato Adhishto
Sakshat Bhagavata Dasta
Matchalokam Jihasata.
Matyalokam Jihastata.
Hmm. Please read.
Sri Uddhava said, "You may take lessons from the great learned sage Maitreya, who is nearby and who is worshipable for the reception of transcendental knowledge. He was directly instructed by the personality of Godhead while he was about to quit this mortal world."
Hmm. So here Uddhava is informing Maitreya. Sorry, Uddhava is informing Vidura to directly, take these lessons. So Vidura was very inquisitive and asked about what he learned, what Uddhava learned from Krishna. Uddhava, being very young, he did not want to do Maryada Vyatikrama. Maryada Vyatikrama means uh, etiquette, not following the etiquette. Suppose some elderly people are speaking, the younger ones are not supposed to speak. If they speak, actually, it reduces their bhakti, it reduces their lifetime also. It's considered like that. It's especially in spiritual circles, one should respect senior devotee or senior or advanced devotee. See, not senior in terms of age or number of years in Krishna consciousness, but advancement, right? One may be very young, but if he is a sincere devotee, we should respect him accordingly. So Uddhava is doing the same. He is following the etiquette. Etiquette. Yeah. Please read the purport.
Although one may be well versed in the transcendental science, one should be careful about the offense or maryada vitikrama or impertinently surpassing a greater personality. According to scriptural injunction, one should be very careful for transgressing the law of Maryada Vyatikrama because by so doing one loses his duration of life, his opulence, fame, and piety, and the blessings of all the world.
Such an important principle that, especially if a senior, higher personality, if it doesn't work even in office, if your leader is talking, you don't want to cut him and speak. It's called Maryada Vyatikrama. Right? One should be very careful of transgressing it. Because if we does, then one loses duration of life, his opulence, fame, and piety. and the blessings of the world.
Among all the devotional rules and policies, this policy, they're in corporate world, they follow it very well. The Maryada Vitikrama.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Especially they will never cross actually. Yeah.
Yes,
And in especially in devotion circles, it is all the more important actually.
right, right.
In corporate world, sometimes one can cross this, but if he is very delivering results, it is it is okay. Uh, it is forgiven if he doesn't follow Maryada Krama also sometimes because he's delivering results. People don't want to give him up. But in spiritual circles, if one crosses Maryada Viratikrama, it's not treated well. It's considered offense. Hmm.
Since both Uddhava and Maitreya were directly instructed by the Lord, both had the authority to become the spiritual master of Vidura or anyone else. But Maitreya, being elderly, had the first claim to becoming the spiritual master, especially for Vidura, who was much older than Uddhava. One should not be eager to become a spiritual master cheaply for the sake of profit and fame, but should become a spiritual master only for the service of the Lord. The Lord never tolerates the impertinence of Maryada Vitikrama. One should never pass over the honor due to an elderly spiritual master in the interest of one's own personal gain and fame. Impertinence on the part of the pseudo spiritual master is very risky to progressive spiritual realization.
That's a very important purport. One should not be very eager to become spiritual master cheaply for the sake of profit and fame, but should become a spiritual master only for the service of the Lord. Yeah. So here, Uddhava has all the knowledge. There is no lack of it. There is no dearth of it. He could have spoken, and the whole Bhagavatam would have written about Uddhava's words. But he wanted Maitreya to speak to Vidura. In fact, next few cantos is all about Maitreya's. You will see that, which is continuously Maitreya's words, as he heard from Lord Krishna. Yeah. And the other thing is, spiritual master is not a cheap thing. Many people, especially in India, they like to become guru. They are known as gurus. But guru is a very heavy responsibility. If one becomes a guru, he is voluntarily and willingly taking the karmas of the jiva to whom he is becoming the guru. He is literally taking mountains of lifetimes of karma. So there is nothing more generous than becoming one's spiritual master. There is no better service than that. Because who will take all our negative karma? All that we have committed all through many, many lifetimes. Many times, devotees think, oh, the spiritual master doesn't give a lot of initiations. We for us, for example, we are participating and helping in initiation. We think, oh, all the names that I gave became initiated. They all got the names. They are all entered in the database. We think our duty is done. Our duty is done for by that day. But spiritual master's duty starts from that day. And he has taken that duty, for lifetime. So always consider it is a grave, uh, it is a grave thing to become a spiritual master, to take the karmas of the jiva. It is the ultimate compassionate nature of Krishna's mercy in this world to act as a spiritual master. Yeah, it's not an ordinary thing. Okay, so we should always, whenever we see a guru, understand how much sacrifice they are doing. In fact, it affects them. If the disciples do not behave correctly or violate uh, regulative principles, crossing any of the four regulative principles, it affects the health very almost pretty close to the same day. You do some nonsense, immediately it affects his throat doesn't work, or yeah, it affects directly. So we should be very, first thing is we should be very grateful that somebody is willing to take our, it's like you have a $10 million debt. Somebody offered, some billionaire offered you um, what do you call that? Debt freeing.
Loan amnesty, something
Ah,
like.
yeah, completely taking away your loan and frees you up. From tomorrow, you have zero debt, sir.
Yeah. Debt forgiveness. Yeah.
Yeah, debt forgiveness, like government of US does that for some student loans.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that. It's such a gracious offer by, of course, it's karma is on hold until one proves himself to be sincere. If he does mistakes, he will get back again. But that's a very generous offer. So we should be always, whenever you see a person who is initiating, understand, that he has done this. Sri Sukha Uvacha
Sri
Sri
Sukha
Sukha
Uvacha
Iti Saha Iti Saha Iti Saha Vidurena Viswamurter
iti
Iti
saha
Saha Vidurena Viswamurtir
Guna Kataya Sudaya Pila Plavit Plavitoru Tapaha.
Gunakatyaya Sudhaya Plavitolustap
Janam Iva Puline Yamas Vasustam
Kshanam iva
Janamiva Puleni
yamasvasustam
Yamaswastam
Samusita Aupa Gaver Nisham Tatogat.
Samusita Apugavir Nisam Tatogat.
Sorry, my bad reading. Please read.
Sukadeva Goswami said, O king, after thus discussing with Vidura the transcendental name, fame, qualities, etc., on the bank of the Yamuna, Uddhava was overwhelmed with great affliction. He passed the night as if it were a moment, and therefore he went away.
Yeah. So because they were discussing about the pastimes of Lord, so that whole night, Uddhava and Vidura, they discussed about Lord Krishna's, pastimes of childhood, pastimes of his, living in Dwarka, pastimes of his, living in Madura, and his great qualities in his relationship with the devotees. So looking at all, discussing all of that, they passed the night like a moment. It was so quick. Yeah. Yeah. Please continue.
The word used here for Krishna is Vishwamurti. Both Uddhava and Vidura were in great affliction because of Lord Krishna's departure. And the more they discussed the transcendental name, fame, and qualities of the Lord, the more the picture of the Lord became visible to them everywhere.
Hmm. So they're seeing Krishna everywhere because they were engrossed in the discussions of the pastimes of the Lord. Yeah. Okay. So they were all engrossed. A lot of devotees are, doing some services for Vyas Puja tomorrow. So I will stop actually here. We'll continue from here because a lot of devotees are out already. So we discussed 5 verses. We'll continue next week. Okay?
Prabhuji.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Yeah.
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you.
Hare